Hobby Quick Hits. Delivering that breaking hobby news directly to your earlobes. You want to know those hot drops from the card shop? We've got you covered. With your host, John Newman.
Welcome to episode 161 of Hobby Quick Hits. I am literally just back from the Syracuse Fairgrounds show and doing this. It's going to be a review of the show, how it went. It's been 4 or 5 months since my last show as a dealer. And, the reason we kind of take a 4 to 5 month hiatus, at least at the Fairgrounds show, is with the New York State Fair and some other events. They can't schedule it. So, chomping at the bit to get back on the horse. Did that. Haven't even put all my stuff away when we're doing this recording. Wanted to get it done to make sure we get this out on time. I'm going to tell you kind of my observations and from the show, how I did, how the recent SGC news affected the outcome of the show for me, one way or the other. I won't give it away here during the open. You'll have to listen to the main review to find out. But it was good to get back out there behind the table as always. And also want to keep in mind, want to make a note that if you're listening to this on the first day I released it as the podcast, it is Monday, September 11th. I think most of us know the significance of that date, unfortunately, from 22 years ago. And, tough day for this country with the attacks on multiple fronts, including my hometown of New York City with the World Trade Center towers. And, I think about a lot of things when I think about this day. My stepbrother, Steve, was, very early on one of the volunteers at the World Trade Center site to help out, all volunteer. And we lost him, not necessarily from that. He had some health issues, probably unrelated to, working there at the site. But again, I'm not an expert, but we lost my stepbrother, Steve, about 2 years ago in June. And so I think about the tragic events. I think about my stepbrother, even more so, I think, on this day. And, it's a tough day, but we need to remember and appreciate what we have. And so if you'll indulge me, I'd like to take a couple seconds and have a quick few seconds of silence, and then we'll keep going, because that's what we need to do.
Okay, now a quick word from our great sponsor, followed by the new product release schedule. Then we'll go around the Hobbyverse to tell you all the latest hobby happenings and news. Then we'll tackle today's topic of discussion.
All right, you got me for the new release product calendar. Let's start with September 13th. I'm going to go over the next 2 weeks here. Quite a bit of scheduled releases, so hang in tight as I go through this list. September 13th. These are all on September 13th. 2023 Bowman Chrome Baseball. 2023 Leaf Signature Series Baseball. 2023 Panini Plates and Patches Football. 2021/22 Upper Deck Ultimate Collection Hockey. Moving to September 15th, we have 2023 Leaf Exotic Football, 2023 TriStar Hidden Treasures Autograph Football Season Edition. On the 20th, we go to 2023 Panini Chronicles UFC, 2022-23 Panini's Contenders Optic Basketball, 2022 Panini Flawless Football. Yeah, football supposedly still coming out of Panini's coffers. Staying on the 20th, 2022-23 Panini Mosaic Basketball Fast Break. Same date, 2023 Panini Mosaic Football. On the 20th, Rittenhouse Star Trek Lower Decks 2023 Collector's Set. Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 1, also from Rittenhouse. 2022-23 Topps UEFA Club Competition's Finest Soccer. Also on the 20th, Upper Deck Marvel Allegiance, Avengers vs. X-Men. And 2022-23 Upper Deck SP Authentic Hockey. On the 22nd, we have 2022-23 Leaf in the Game, Used Hockey. 2023 Panini Select Baseball. 2023 Pokemon Pokeball Tin, third quarter fall. Also on the 22nd, we have Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, 151, Elite Trainer, Binder Collection, Booster Bundle, and Poster Collection. And on the 22nd, 2023, Topps Allen and Ginter Baseball. So there's your next 2 weeks, a plethora on the schedule. As I always say, choose your weapon and happy ripping.
Let's go round the hobbyverse and catch up on this week's hobby news.
Let's start with the newest news from our news on the list this week. SGC announced new pricing, $15 across the board for their 5 to 10 day turnaround service, $40 for their expedited 1 to 2 day service, and $9 for all TCG trading card games. And that to me is huge news. Full disclosure, they are a sponsor of Sports Card Nation, and I am a bulk submitter. And we're going to talk a little bit about what the effect was of that as I review the show. But that is good news for collectors looking to submit their cards. And even when you think about the 1 to 2 day expedited service at just $40 comparatively to what some of the other grading companies are charging for the same service. That's a low price for that especially. It's not brand new news, but it broke just as our last episode of Hobby Quick Hits 160 aired, so we weren't able to cover it in the news portion then. But Card Porn, also known as Juan Garcia, a collector out of Australia with a big account on numerous social medias, which have now been taken down, allegedly doctored some photos from 1995 with a Michael Jordan jersey and appeared to make them look like they were in game used in the playoffs, and then submitted that jersey to My Gray auction house, and they certified it based on the doctored photos. He said the photos came from a Tony Rand's foundation, and Tony Rand's was a NBA photographer during the 90s who unfortunately passed away in 1996. But there was one problem. There is no such thing as the Tony Rand's Foundation. Tony Rand's children picked up on this. Can't let people know, powers that be, hey, our dad never started a foundation. We didn't start a foundation posthumously. So this is somebody using our dad's name. Then the photos were deemed to be doctored. And so now the jersey is, looking like Fugazi. Darren Ravel broke this story. Apparently there's some other stories relating to Juan Garcia that do not put him in a good light. As I already said, he's taken down all his accounts, and I believe we're going to have some legal participation in this. So this story is ongoing. We will update it as needed. The NFL Players Association has announced NFL Premier with a 1 in place of the I in Premier. And what this is much like what Major League Baseball did earlier this year with rookie debuts with a special patch on the arm sleeve. Football, NFL is doing that too with all players, not just select, all players who make their first appearance on the field. Now, one slight difference, where those Major League Baseball debut patches went to Fanatics to be used on future cards, these patches will be given to the players themselves. I think it's a way, let's let's keep it real, folks, right? It's the NFL Players Association shanking, Panini after pulling their license, and that will be it looks like a court battle. It's another way for them to say, see, you're not doing it. And so the players themselves will get those patches as mementos, and apparently you will not see them on any Panini football cards. Again, we'll see how this story develops, but I don't think there's much that can be done with that. That's the Players Association decision there. While we're talking about Panini, some of their bad luck or bad news continues. They settled a lawsuit with AAA Sports, the original producers of Wild Card, on a copyright infringement deal. It's going to cost Panini, the settlement, $25 million to AAA Sports. The cards in question were the 1992-1993 Wild Card Stat Smashers inserts, and Panini replicating them basically in 2020 and 2021 certified football products. And if you've seen the pictures of both these cards, I remember the originals from Wild Card days, and I actually still, I looked and I actually still have some, surprisingly. The 2020-21 Panini versions are like dead ringers, and I think it was a no-brainer to settle. This case would have went to court. I think it would have been a layup for AAA Sports, and maybe would have cost even more money for Panini. So that lawsuit is settled for $25 million.
Order in the court!
And last but not least, in our news for this episode, Kevin O'Neill, formerly of Topps, will be the new CEO of Leaf as Brian Gray steps down, rumored to be headed somewhere else to be determined, but says he's retired, but we'll see if he pops up somewhere else. And with the Kevin O'Neill installation, Leaf existing employees Josh Panko and Greg Cohn will be executive vice presidents. So there you go.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, let's talk about Collectorfest 88. Just got back from that show, as I haven't even put all my stuff away from the show. First show for me as a dealer in about 4 months, and I have two of my own tables there, and then I have a table for SGC Bulk Subs that I do there. And SGC just announced earlier in the week that it would be reducing its pricing to $15, which is big news and good news. And I was curious with this show, I knew that there would be a buzz with the lower pricing, but because it was announced sort of on Monday or Tuesday, I was wondering how many people would know by the show, that the pricing was going from $22 to $15. And let me tell you this right now, everybody knew. And I'm happy to report we set a record for intake cards for bulk for SGC grading. And I gotta say, if you follow me on social media, you've seen me post some of the cards. Whenever I post somebody else's cards, I always ask permission. They're not my cards. I ask, hey, do you mind if I post it on the show's social media? I always get clearance. So anything you see where I post and it's not my card, I get a thumbs up from the owner. And I've got in this sub just some intense cards. A 1921 U.S. Caramel Babe Ruth, a Ty Cobb Tolstoy back tobacco card, a Joe DiMaggio rookie, Gretzky rookies, multiple Walter Paytons, 30 Mickey Mantles, that's just a tip of the iceberg. Those are the big ones, and just insane stuff. And so it's always nerve-wracking when you handle cards of such significance, but that's what insurance is all about, and so this will be a very interesting bulk sub to see what these cards get for grades, and there's some really nice vintage in nice shape, so I'm going to be watching intently. I have a few cards, nothing of significance of like those Cobb, DiMaggio, and Ruth, but I did find some Ohtani rookies in a box that I had forgotten about. So those will make their way to SGC for slabbing, and so when we talk when I'm looking at this show, it was successful on that level alone. Now on my sports card side as a seller, did not set any sort of records, but did well. Sold a couple big cards from the case. My new boxes where I kind of did them by team seemed to do well. It didn't sell as much vintage as I typically do. That was kind of quiet, which was a little surprising to me, but did overall well. Between my personal sales and the SGC bulk subbing, it was a fun day, a great day. Kind of set up near my buddy and my son's godfather, Chad, and so we talked quite a bit. And even the people I'm kind of in the quad box. The one gentleman's from Long Island, so me being from Brooklyn, we talked some Billy Joel and that. But it was hard to talk. It was busy, almost 600 people through the doors of the show. And I will say this, the SGC table was busy almost all day. And it was a little tricky kind of bouncing from that table to my other two to collect sales and that sort of thing. But I did it, and it was fun, and keeps me on my toes, and maybe keeps me a little younger. I had some friends come up to the table, friends of the hobby that came up, and we chatted a little bit, and had some friends also do subs. So that's always fun and cool. And I had 3 or 4 people come up to me that I did not know who they were, and said, "Hey man, love the show, keep it up." And as I always say, hey, without you guys, we don't have a show. So I was very appreciative of that, thankful for that, and overall, great day. I'm tired, which is par for the course. Next show is literally a month and a few days from now. Many of the people told me, can I pick up my graded cards at the next show, which is fine. And so we'll be doing a lot of SGC pickups at that show. And I hadn't done a show in like 4 or 5 months, and I was wondering how it's going to be. First day of football season. I think, 1 o'clock hit when the first games kind of kick off. It did, wasn't dead, but it did quiet it down. Still fairly busy even after the NFL game started. On a personal note, my Steelers stunk it up once again. So, for you Kenny Pickett believers, I'm not on that train as a Steeler fan. I'm probably one of the exceptions to that rule. I'm not sold on him as, being successful at the NFL level. But we'll see. Obviously, I hope I'm wrong, because that's my team and I don't root against them. As far as with the sub, heavy baseball, but had a little of everything. Had some UFC, had some a little hockey, some basketball, plenty of football, and so it was kind of sort of a balanced attack with that. Again, for me on my selling side, not as much vintage as I typically do move. So I don't know if that was just an anomaly, just one of those kind of shows, but a couple big modern cards I did sell. Some of my team box stuff sold a couple. I have like a discount slab shoe box that went. I did a new dollar box that was pretty successful, so I'll have to kind of reload that. So overall was a fun day. good day. And, we get ready for, this is a time of year where I have a show almost every month after taking sort of 4 months off. And it's not me really taking 4 months off, is the shows I do at the New York State Fairgrounds. And obviously we have the New York State Fair there. It's a 14-day event. So we can't obviously have any card shows during that day. And it usually takes a month for them to kind of get really set up. So we can't have any before that too. So there's a little bit of a lull. I may be doing a Rochester show coming up, but I'm not sure yet. So it's it's a long day, but I'm always the last one out. I think I've talked about this on the show before. I'm always the last one out. My stuff's in alphabetical order, and so I have to pack it back up in alphabetical order. But I've got that down to a little bit more of a science, and I do that quicker than I usually do. So, but it was fun to definitely get to have those cards in hand, at least temporarily, and also nerve-wracking at the same time, because now I have to, I'm responsible for them until they get back to their owners, graded and slabbed by SGC. So I'll be reaching out to them to kind of coordinate that, and a little bit talking about the new pricing. I think it was good timing. It maybe could have been done sooner, but if this bulk sub is any indication, they are going to get a lot of cards, and so I'm hoping we don't have another backlog, or it doesn't extend. They're running at about 10 days. I'm hoping that they can keep that pace up. And if they can keep that 10-day pace up at $15 a card, that will be huge for them. They're number 2 in the industry, and they're going to firmly entrench themselves in my mind with this latest change. $40 for expedited 2-day service. So that's huge right there. So that I'll be doing that next month for those that are local or will be in the area. If you want to get anything subbed, I will be at October 15th, Collectorsfest number 89. This was 88. So get your cards ready, or hey, I just come up and say hello as well. I enjoy that as well. It's nice to sell cards, don't get me wrong, but I enjoy the conversations too, and it's fun. And even a few folks that came up and said, "Hey, I appreciate your show, a listener," and that means a lot to me. Again, like I said, I like making sales, but even those conversations are refreshing and humbling. So, was a good day. I'm tired. We're going to kind of wrap it up. That's sort of my Collectorsfest 88 summary. If you're listening and you're local, or you're going to be and you have any questions pertaining to any of that stuff, feel free to reach out. But with that being said, and keep in mind, tomorrow, if you're listening to this on show release day, or today, September 11th. So take a minute to keep those lost in your thoughts, and not only those lost on that tragic day, but those who went to those areas to help out and then got secondary illnesses that may have led to an earlier demise as well. I think we can't lose sight of that human element. So with that being said, be good. We'll see you very soon. All right. Thank you for listening to another episode of Hobby Quick Hits. Want to give out our social media, starting with our website, which is www.sportscardnationpodcast.com. Facebook, you can follow us at www.facebook.com/SportsCardNationPodcast/. Twitter, we are at SportsCardNati1, so it's SportsCard NATI1. Instagram, at SportsCardNationPodcast, or you can email the show, hobbyquickhits@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.